Hello, you're welcome to our Thursday edition of Nigeria Market. Nigeria Market, is an advocacy program of aid. And Nigeria Market is online television that dwell more on made in Nigerian product. Thank God we started this month with how Nigeria is great. At 99, at 61, Nigerian population is termed as the highest in the world, black nation. But we're going to talk this morning on how we can be able to harness our population, our diversity, based on the number that we have on hand. Celebrating Nigeria at 61, how far have we gone economically? And we know on the studio, we talk more on economy. And that's why Nigerian market, we're going to, x-ray and dwell on today's topic. With me in the studio, no longer person than my
My
very
name is
strong
Chimene Samuel.
Jimenez Samuel Paul.
Yes,
Let me put
that
that one.
Paul
Paul
is
is
very
very,
important.
very unique. So this morning, you're welcome, viewers, and we want to interrogate more on how our diversity can be able to grow our economy economically. So we will look at it last edition. We interrogated it and trying to compare other nations who have high population, how they have gone, how they have diverse their economy and they are growing very well compared to our nation, Nigeria, which we also know as a black nation in the planet Earth. According to figures, they say we are the most populated black nation in the planet Earth. So how are we harnessing our population to grow the economy? I think that's what we're going to interrogate this morning. We have started it, so we're going to wrap it up today, the second part of it. So we're going to look at how other nations had actually used their population to grow economy, and we'll bring that very condition, what are premises that have used to grow the economy in Nigeria. So we're going to look at it in that aspect. And we talked about agriculture, which is one of those issues. But before you even come, what is the importance of population to alienation? The population to alienation gives opportunity that when there are more people, we are going to have more parents. When parents are giving birth, they give birth to children that they're going to talk about food, their clothing, their school fees. So these are areas of investment that will grow economy. So when the people grow, when the people are increasing in population, there's need for us to see that there'll be more uh, uh, manpower production. And all these are the things other nations have used to grow their economy. But is that the same thing we are doing in Nigeria? Is what we're going to interrogate this morning. So with me, as you said earlier, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, is interesting, Mr. Slate. When you have knowledge that you don't use, the have you say, this your knowledge now waste product.
Of course.
You are just wasting it. Okay, that's how I see, that we have population and then we're just wasting it. Like you said, we have checked other nations that have population. Take for instance, um, China, about 1.45 billion people.
Okay.
They say China alone, have half of the population of the world. The world population about 7.7 billion people, and China alone has about 1.45 thereabout billion. And then followed by India, which is about 1.3, 1.30 billion people. And if you look at these nations with this population, those are the people who are discipling other smaller nations. They are now the Asian tigers. They are the ones growing. Now, the painful thing with these people now is that in early 80s, or let me not say in 70s, so that we don't tell histories that we don't really know. But we've heard by history that at a point in time, Nigeria was at the same level with China. Nigeria was the same level with Indonesia, Singapore, and others. So what has happened? And if you check these people, they grew, in population. They now took, for me, I believe that their population, in all that, we saw that Indian has over hundreds ethnic groups in India. India constitutionally, recognized about 22 official languages.
Compared to Nigeria,
So compared to Nigeria, I said three. Now, so that still shows that population or diversity or ethnicity is not the problem, because these people have managed it. Now, in development, all we are trying to do is how did these people, in spite of their own larger, sectors or whatever, how have they managed their own, to benefit them? That's what we're just looking at in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have a population. Yes, we are the most populous black nation. Now,
Yes. Nigeria at 61.
okay, so let me be, those are the things we are looking at. Everything is tend towards taking advantage, economic advantage. I was just talking about a local farmer who, in their time, those are the areas we call dark age. So that idea of machineries, mechanized farming was not there. So they have to harvest their this thing with marrying many wives. And you see that those wives were productive wives. Their children were productive. Not that you don't have one. They also, everything was okay for them. There was nothing like go and beg and who to know, because the man was rich.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the same thing we're just trying to bring to our focus as Nigerians. We have population, we have population. Now we have different ethnic groups. Why are we not taking advantage to grow our economy? That's our focus. How this our diversity can give us a buoyant and robust economy,
Of course,
and not just going to borrow,
as we've already done. Well, that's the essence, and that's why Nigeria market is always here Tuesdays and Thursdays to weigh into some of these economic diversities that we're looking at. We are actually focusing on how our diversity can improve our economic development. And we're looking at how other nations have grown. Now you can see what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria basically is a dichotomy kind of country. We talk about the north and the south, and these are two zones that actually had to live pari passu or live on each other. It is believed that it's give and take so that we can grow as a nation. But what we find out today in Nigeria, especially when you come down to what is happening presently in our nation, Nigeria, we talk about what is happening in the southeast today. It's issue of diversity. I'm in the southeast. You are in the north. There's disagreement, and as a result of that, my issues in my area will not move. Everybody won't come out to do economic emancipations because of one law or because of one administration. How has that actually affect the economy of our nation as we look presently today? I think those are the issues we're also going to bring to fore so that our listeners can also understand that without harnessing our diversity, we can never grow economically.
Yes, Mr. Slate, I want to say, without mixing words, we don't have problem with our population. We don't have problem with our diversity. We don't have, with ethnic thing. I want to beg that politicians should leave us to live in peace. All right, because till tomorrow, I'm not saying yesterday, till tomorrow, if you go to Okigwe, that's along Abia, okay,
Yeah.
you will see that cattle settlement. Okay, all the cow that comes from the north, they have settlement. And I still remember that because of their presence then, that the former governor of Abia State had to build a mosque for them. I think Omai had one of the biggest mosques presently, because it was that mutual benefit.
Yeah.
These people were bringing, their products from the north to southeast, not just southeast. In that Okigwe, I still remember very well that all the meat, to Port Harcourt, which is now in South
Southeast was serving as a zone.
as a zone. So they move from there. All the Igbo people who sell cow meat, you know, more, southeast, like we used to say, Aba is supposed to be the China of Nigeria. All right. Um, the same thing with Anambra. These are economic, highly commercial city,
hub cities.
In the southeast. So we want to also plead with our leaders, in southeast. You are impoverishing the people more. by taking this um, sit at home thing. Now you are killing the economy of southeastern states. When people sit at home, there is no food products coming from the north that will go to the south. There's no one coming from the south that will go to the north. The farmers will not go to the farm. So everything, you can imagine in Onitsha market, either P-Waka or all those, is it all those markets within
those major
Onitsha.
markets, yeah.
Then you ask everybody to sit at home, you grant the economy. In that Onitsha, you will see an Hausa man that is there, you will see a Yoruba man that is there, you will see, somebody from Ghana there. Of course, because it's an industrial listen, I'm sure that you see a lot of Chinese people
Of course, there,
in
because
in
they like
in
this kind of
Onitsha.
economic
So everybody
environment.
is at home,
All right.
and we're just kidding. We're not taking advantage of this diversity at all. Before let me just quickly just make this. I was sharing, if you go to Oron is in Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah.
Opopo is in River State.
Yeah.
You will never know who is from Oron and who is from Opopo. Opopo people speak Akwa Ibom very well. They intermarry, they do everything just because of fishing settlements. Oh, these people are fishers. Yes, fishing, maybe fishermen or whatever. So they move from Opopo, by water to Oron and settle there. Oron people move to this. So this sharp division, I don't know where it's coming from. Instead of us taking the advantage that God did not make mistake, to put a lot of solid minerals in the north, and then put petroleum resources in the south. And so why do we want to compete? The competition should be, maybe when we begin this campaign, we will join Median to do one local government, one product, so that let's see what you produce.
All right. I think that should be human factor. If you ask this question, what is the problem? It should be human factor. But then, from what you have explained, I think our listeners need to understand that we are talking Nigeria has 61, and how far Nigeria has grown in its population, because it's always regarded as the highest black nation in the world. So if we are high in this area, why can't we use that figure to better our economy? I think that's what we're dwelling on and interrogating. And you've made me very, very passionate to remember and to call our viewers and Nigerians to bear that if Okigwe was a hub for the north before now, and we've been living in mutual, and economic growth has been growing very well. If in the south, where the Orons and the River State,
Opopo
people,
yes,
these are two sharp ethnic groups who live there, but they decided to harness their economic value and intermarry and grow their economy. Why? What has been the issue? What has been the issue? Like I said, it could be a man factor. The human factor here is because of personal interest,
political interest.
So you have narrowed it down to politics. There. So politics is the factor that is actually dividing us, not our diversity.
Not at all.
So we must continue to hammer on our program for our economy to grow, for us to get back to our roots and be able to be independent, as we call ourselves. Then we must begin to checkmate the kind of politics Nigeria play at this point in time. We are in the 21st century. Our politics should be give and take, so that we can grow and better ourselves. And nesting on our diversity, we should grow at this point in time, not beginning to depend. Just like you've said earlier, that we're looking up to China to get borrow money and what have you. What did China did? China invested in their internet, domestic investment, and they grew. So we should to begin to look at those aspects that we have. We have all that it takes. We are rich. God has blessed this nation. So we should begin to, harness our potentials for the betterment of Nigeria as a whole, economically. So we want to thank our viewers. We want to look up that, we are still talking about Nigeria 61 and how far we've gone. And we must continue to say that we have enough to develop our nation. And looking at our population and our diversity, it shouldn't be an issue. We should build on what we had, our foreparents, founding fathers had used before to grow this country, so that we'll continue to in that track to make Nigeria great again. So if we do this, I think it will give us more opportunities to grow economically as we continue to hammer on our program. Our program is advocacy on economic development in Nigeria. So once again, we want to appreciate all our viewers, listeners. There, we always want to encourage you to partake in our discussions and make your comments, engage us in your discussion by liking our page and dropping your comments that we can also read out, so that Nigerians can say that we are not talking alone, we are talking as a nation, so that we can grow our economic potential. So before we leave, I think you may have one or two.
All right. Way forward. The way forward is simple. We have just said, diagnosis. Why medical in medicine they do a lot of history, so that we'll be able to know the right. When you make right diagnosis, the treatment becomes very yes, very simple. For me, I think that the challenge is one, leadership. Leadership. Before now, we have said Nigerians are living. Now, if we check these other nations who have mentioned, we've said they have good, a very high population.
Yeah.
They have more ethnic nationalities or groups than us. But you have seen where leaders are making, concerted effort in making sure they are not after you are this person, you are that person. They are looking at developing. So every of their policy, has to do with development. They focus it there. If our leaders, the strength they are using, to preach division amongst Nigerians, if they use that to now said, Kanu have all the leader we need. Abia State, will patronize and process this leather because that's a hub, for shoes and all that. If there is a government policy, you understand, you see that thing will stand. If Aba makes that shoe and is brought to Lagos, then is taken to Kano, that's coexistence. I believe that that's what other nations are doing. They are not focusing on the different ethnic group where they come from. They are focusing more on how do we develop our nation, okay,
and be self-sufficient.
We remember in a quick time, the group from Georgia that came, that we hosted here.
Sometimes.
We tell you how government is supporting products because this thing is from Georgia, somebody's initiative. I want to make a USB code that bears made in Georgia. The government is interested. In our own case here, it's even the government politics, okay? I said it the other day that somebody was saying he had a project and he approached a government development institution that financed this kind of project, and they told him to his face that if it was in this region, for God's sake. So that's where we have issues. So the leaders must unite this nation, but we don't have any challenge. I ask you again, when it is time to share money in National Assembly, do you hear I am not, I'm on South? Do you hear that? Do you hear who is a Southerner, who is a Northerner? Do you know that I am from this party and from the other party?
That one is going to their pocket.
So that's why leaders should be...
Okay, as a nation, we're looking at selfless leadership. We want leaders that can actually be selfless without looking at regions or ethnicity, because our diversity is what is making us greater. You didn't add something that I wanted you to say that is also hammering on me when you talk about innocent that is in the base in the north, in the south, in the east.
No, the
innocent for the grace of God. Automobile. Nigeria has never gone this far, and we have a young man like that, and yet the country the nation has not patronized him to a extent that he has moved his production plan to Ghana, according to stories. That is not in Nigeria. So how can we grow when we look at some of these issues? So we begin to talk to our government to look inward and patronize what we have, so that this synergy can be, grown and be more robust, so that we can grow economically. I think these are the aspects we should continue to encourage government to look at.
Please let me just add to our brothers in the south. The agitators in the south, you don't take because you want to clean the baby, all right? You pour hot water on the baby because you want to bathe this baby to be clean. You kill the baby. Now, I got we were supposed to be in Anambra, and I spoke with a friend who just left here, who is there, and he said most of these industrialists in Anambra have all deserted Anambra. They've gone to Lagos because the killing of Dr. Chike Akwere scared a lot of them. They are running. I remember that when there is this sit-at-home thing, most of those big men, they leave the town because they're also targeted. So these agitators should also know that they are killing the economy of the state. It is not going to help us in any way. You are impoverishing the people you say you want. That's one of these things I used to say.
That is ignorant.
Yes. So whoever is training them, whoever is leading them, should first of all consider that Anambra, as rich as that state, you go there now, election is coming, all the industry. That's why now, sit at home. Innocent can't work. All the factories in Anambra can't work. So if you have a business in that kind of place, will you allow your business to go? We heard that Dangote had to move his savings or part of these things abroad just to safeguard his financial not to drop by the slow motion, speedy fall of dollar. So he had to take part of his investment to Europe to protect his wealth. So agitators from the southeast, please, Aba will sit at home, then will not have any shoe, will not have clothes, will not have that. Then the industries are closed. And you know one thing with these machineries, if you keep them too long without servicing, of course, they rot. So that is one of the reasons. In your agitations, remember that you are not even you are just against yourself, not the other people. You are not against anybody, you are against yourself. So, and you're killing your people.
Well,
so
the issue of agitation, but I want to say that I think the official body has said they have called off the sit-at-home. It's only the die-hearted people who are still
but that still has to boil down to leadership.
So leadership. So
the governors must take drastic action.
The leaders that Zoom met 2 days ago, I think they should have come out with.
Let me tell you one thing.
Communicate that can be able to look into.
No, it's not about communicating. There are drastic actions. In the Niger Delta, during the agitations of Niger Delta, Jonathan Goodluck had to enter Creek. Yes, leaders enter Creek.
Come face to face.
Face to face. Okay, now I am here. Let's do that. So it is not sitting in one room and talk.
Maybe we're going to do that. Yes. Maybe that will be another discussion for another.
Yeah. So let the leaders, let the governors
see how we can look at this agitation, because it's killing our economy very drastically. That is what we preach against in our studio. Well, once again, we want to appreciate all our listeners who are with us. I want to say you're king for taking your time and data, watching and listening to our program. And we want to continue to encourage you. We're talking Nigeria and we're talking economy, and how we can be able to grow the economy of our nation so that we can be self-sufficient, to be a master on his own, not dependent. We are independent country, so it should be really independent in all aspects. And that's why this program is rich. So before we leave, we want to encourage you, keep sending your messages, liking our page, and drop your comments so that we can also read the next edition. So before we leave, I think normally you always let us know what COVID is and all that. So that
Slater is not giving room for our audience to begin to phone in. So let them begin to call in, and so we just have that segment, where people, I listen to some programs like the Comedy at Kiss. So Comedy at Kiss, they give people room to call in. So we look at them, let them begin to give room for people to call in.
All right.
Anyway, fine. COVID is still here. I think that's our last message. Nigerians, please, the COVID is still here. leave some speculations. I saw somebody just posted something to me this morning that Bill Gates, Bill Gates came to say the vaccines are wrong, they should withdraw and see, these are messages that are just deceiving people. Until you see it, please don't believe that. But what is difficult there in just washing your hands? That's even very, and then you use face mask when you are in a crowded place. And just keep little distance. Is that a difficult thing? There's nothing difficult about it. So even if you are not going to take the vaccine, of course, the alcohol base. In fact, people like alcohol, then they are not telling you just use it to clean your hands. It becomes a difficult thing. So please, let's adhere to the protocol. That protocol is important before you now think of the danger of vaccination and all that. Please, and then go and be vaccinated.
All right, thank you very much for that enlightenment, and we'll continue to encourage us to hold on it. As before we leave this morning, we'll continue to appreciate you, and as we leave, we'll continue to let Nigerians know that where we buy Nigeria to grow.
Yeah, buy Nigeria to grow Nigeria.